News with LJ and Allie, doing the news with LJ and Allie, yeah, here at the Wrasslin for Life Network. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wrasslin for Life Network. For Life Network, I am LJ here with your daily wrestling news. I got my cat ears on, and yes, we are in space today because the lighting is just not working for me. So, this is the background today. But we're still in the news studio. And the very first thing today is always hopping into a little bit of history. That's right, today in wrestling history, it's a little bit of an extra Canadian day because I got to pick the news, so of course I'm gonna be waving the flag. Woo! Yes, absolutely love it. 19 years ago today at the WWF House Show in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, Mr. Adam Copeland defeated Christian Cage. That's right. For Christian, real name Jay Rousseau, Christian. This was his very first WWE match, and for Copeland, he would continue to wrestle under his real name till, of course, being debuted as Edge, and then Christian would debut same year at Breakdown in September. So I thought that was very, very cool, and of course, there was also this would be the this would have been the 102nd birthday of a very famous Canadian wrestler, Mr. Stuart Edward Hart, or just Stu Hart for short. That is correct. He is a very, if you do not know who he is a very famous Canadian wrestler, and he's done very much for the sport of wrestling. And I got a little bit of history here. Going to give you a little bit of a history deep dive on this very important person because he went from being in the Canadian Navy to the as their director of athletics, learning about professional wrestling, and then soon after he got out of, the Navy and everything, he formed the Stampede Wrestling, and 3 years after that he purchased a giant mansion. And why is this house important? Well, because the basement of that mansion would become the legendary training ground known simply as the dungeon. And I could not pass up the possibility of talking about that because, it is a historical site for wrestling people all around the world. And in this dungeon, they trained people like Bret Hart, Owen Hart, Greg Valentine, Davey Boy Smith, Mark Henry, Natalia, the one and only lady to ever come out of the dungeon. Iconic, love her, and Tyson Kidd, and Edge, and Kristen, and Lance Storm, and Chris Benoit, and Chris Jericho, and so many more. Brian Pillman, Justin Liger. I'm so sorry about that pronunciation. But the last person to graduate from the dungeon was Tyson Kidd, Mr. Natalia Hart. So I thought it was very cool. And even though he unfortunately passed away I unfortunately forgot to write down the date because that's really unfortunate. But this would have been his 102nd birthday, so I thought I'd play a little bit of a yay! Yes, I updated the little bit of birthday stuff, and while looking through his history, he wrestled a tiger and a grizzly bear, and I said, "Is there proof?" And I found it, and that's terrifying. I knew Vince McMahon talked about a bear fighting the Rock, but I didn't think that happened in times where cameras were. That's a tiger. There was more pictures, but I was just thinking, So he lived one hell of a life. He fought a tiger. He trained some of the most amazing wrestlers of, almost every generation, and I hope I hope WWE does something to honor him. I'm not sure if they will because they're very picky, but I find him to be fantastic, and I think the Tiger won, but only because I think he rolls out of the ring. In the other pictures, it looks like he really just rolled out of the ring and count out. So Kitty won by count out. There you go. But on our way to the news, because it can't always just be birthday stuff, and we're gonna just get rid of all that happiness for a second. Because unfortunately, it was reported yesterday evening that Mr. Alberto Del Rio's ex-wife and mother of his children unfortunately passed away Saturday, April 30th, and it says she did fight very, very much to stay, and everybody fights for their life when they're on their deathbed usually, so obviously it's not like she wanted to leave her children. So he is just he's put out a lot of messages on the internet, specifically Twitter and Instagram, just thanking the fans for the lovely messages, having thoughts and prayers, and a lot of kind words towards his ex-wife, and I'm pretty sure that is probably helping his children grieve also, because they can see their father's also very distraught about it. um, there's many different ways he could have approached the situation, but being very sympathetic and distraught, it's I feel very bad for him. And thoughts and prayers. Put some F's in the chat. Everybody be nice. He's not the greatest person in the world, but he losing someone who's the mother of your children is gonna hurt anyone. So I mean that's gonna hurt anyone. And on to some not quite as sad news, but still not the greatest news, especially for, you know, old Canada over here. Mr. Stu Grayson was removed from the AEW roster page. Why? I don't know. The Dark Order is still listed, including Evil Uno, Alan 5 Angels, Alex Reynolds, Cole Cabana, John Silver, Press Tance, and Anna Jay, but Stu Grayson is not there. Now, if Evil Uno is there, I'm assuming this is just a mix up with contracts, because they are very much a tag team and both come from Canada. Um, yeah, he last wrestled during last week's AEW Dark Elevation, where the Dark Order defeated Eli, Isam, Anthony Bennett, Mike Law, Corey Mesha, and Jaden Volo, and Brett Waters. That was a lot of names that I've never heard of, but that's okay, because we can watch it back, and you know, if NXT can bring in 90 new people, they should get the same criticism as AW Dark, just having new people. Uh, anyway, but according to Dave Meltzer, Stu Grayson's contract with AEW has expired, and the two sides have failed to come to terms to a new deal. But AEW nor Stu Grayson has actually confirmed that, so that it's just Dave Meltzer speculating. So I'm not going to try to speculate anything. I'm going to hope that they meet a common ground, everything is okay, and it's all good. Stu was one of the original members of the Dark Order, and it would be very unfortunate as a uh, beginner time watcher of AEW from 2019. It would be very sad to see him go, especially because he is Canadian, and even on Be the Elite, he's very funny. So I'm not really sure. Yeah, that's just unfortunate. Not the best news, but on some better news. May is the National Mental Health Month, and and talking about mental health, the Bunny from AEW opened up about her mental health and how she wants the stigma around mental health to end. And she took to Twitter to say, it's hashtag Mental Health Awareness Month, and I thought it would be a good time to share some things with all of you and be open about my internal struggles. It's a huge stigma surrounding mental health issues. I think when she points out when people are struggling with their mental health, health is exhausting, and it's very often very hard to actually ask for help because there is such a stigma around it. And she says you will you put the work in every single day, and you still find yourself struggling and fighting against all the titles. But this is what mental health awareness month is all about, because you need to be you can aware it, you can voice it, you can ask for help, and as usually a nice ear to listen and a shoulder to cry on does actually go a long way, and a very nice hug. Hug your people more often. Well, consensually, but hugs are wonderful. They release dopamine in your brain, so it's good. Um, but yes, she said, I want the stigma surrounding around mental health issues to go away. So many people are struggling with it, and it's okay for us to talk about it. You don't have to suffer in silence, and you're not alone. So I 100% stand behind that message because mental health is not something that should just be swept under the rug. And if more people were helped, I feel like it would make the world a better place because when you can finally understand your brain, it really helps your entire life because everything you perceive it has to go through your brain, and if your brain's not it's all like a little dark and gloomy in there. It when it perceives things through a happier light, it does get better, but sometimes your brain can't actually make those happy chemicals due to like your brain not actually having to have those chemicals. So it's do not think that it's just you're sad. It is Mental Health Awareness Month, and you are allowed to talk about your mental health. So not just this month. This is just the awareness month where people are like, okay, extra attention here. We matter. Mental health matters. So I appreciate that. Next up, we have a little bit of a screen sharing here because WWE's Becky Lynch wants to team with Conor McGregor. What is this? Uh, um, she says, okay, it's cool with me and Connor. Me and Connor versus who are we facing? Anybody we want? Oh, all right. I'm down with that. Well, hell, I'm down to team with Conor McGregor anytime. Now, I know this is just a very quick story, but I thought it was very funny, and I would love to see the Irish Legends go like tag team in an intergender match. Like, I would hate to be on the other end of that. You'd be the whoo. I don't know how you'd beat those them. I don't know. I don't know. Let's da-da. Just flipping over to the next little thing, but it wants to fight with me. That's okay. But we have some news about Mr. Roderick Strong in WWE. He recently asked for his release. There's under speculation that he said that he was told no. But he reportedly did re-sign with WWE shortly before the Diamond Mine stable debut last year, and now he is asking for his release, and it's very much rumored that it is already a no. So that's always fun. That's always fun. Just put him in catering, you know. Do we really need more wrestlers being happy? Are you kidding me? Don't make me press the LJ says button. Mm-mm. But as you can see, WWE and AEW are having some very interesting contract discussions. If people are asking to be released from WWE, some of the founding members are leaving AEW. Like, I'm not counting Cody because I will never get over it. Maybe one day. But Stu Grayson, Marco Stunt. I mean, Marco is going on The Voice, but he's not even in the vlogs anymore. Like, what's going on? And yeah, so Stu Grayson, Marco Stunt, a lot of people are leaving. I'm glad Brian Cage got the chance to come back, but I really hope Stu Grayson can stay. Like, what is Evil Uno's? Who's he supposed to tag with without him? So, up next is Mr. Dustin Rhodes, my favorite Rhodes so far. Anyway, he was talking on Thunderosas taco vlog and explaining the difference between coaching in AEW and producing in WWE. He says the other company is different. You don't get to coach. I did with Lana and occasionally before shows, but coaching here is way different than producing there. They call it producing there. We call it coaching. It's real strict. They have to do exactly as they are told. There's lots of things they can and cannot do. It sucks for them because they can't spread their wings and do some really cool stuff like you ladies, referring to Miss Champion Thunderosa, do because it's so strict. They can't do that. We're going to do that. Dustin, that's on you. Then if they do it, I get in trouble for it. Very limited. It's not the same. It's not same here. It sucks. It's hard. So I'm glad he is having a lot more fun in AEW and helping, especially the women, spread their wings and fly because he knows the potential and he would love to give it to them. It's unfortunate that WWE has some very strict things, but I'm sure they will get over it one day. Or they'll just keep calling it self-mutilated violence every time the girls get a little bit bloody. When they're not blading, they were landing in thumbtacks. It's all good. So that we're not done. We're not done because it is a quite a big day of it's a big day of news. I'm just trying to click all the fun buttons here. Clicking the button, clickety clacks. Our next story is about Jeff Jarrett. If my screen would share, so I could talk about it. La da 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 da. Ba ba da ba 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 da ba 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 da. I'm not good at making up beats on the spot sometimes. Lyrics, no problem. Beats, not so much. Let's make that smaller so you guys can actually read it. This WWE Hall of Famer Jeff Jarrett escorted out of the building after controversial segment at Triple Mania XXX. Now, what is this youth pastor from Spring Break doing? Yes, that was his role, and I will never get over it. Jeff Jarrett interrupted a lifetime achievement ceremony for the AAA legend Latin Lover in his hometown of Monterrey, Mexico. I probably pronounced that wrong. Please correct me. Jeff Jarrett received a tremendous amount of heat from the live crowd throughout the segment for his controversial comments on the microphone, and in the end, he was run off by the Latin lover and returning Vampiro, who is well known in Mexico but most famous in US for his WCW run, of course. Yes. Now, there's an update from Lucha Libre. It seems the Wrestling Commission was prepared for Jarrett's antics this time around. They confiscated the tortillas, and the WWE Hall of Famer planned to throw at the crowd when he was done at the AAA events in the past. So I don't think it's great when you're known for throwing tortillas at people. Tortillas, however you want to say it. I don't think it's great when you have a reputation for doing that, specifically at AAA shows, just because they're held in Mexico. Please stop doing that, Jeff Jarrett. I feel like what if it's his punishment for anything that he does that's like not so great? He just has to fight Effie again. That's my goal. That's what we need to get a whole thing. What's that thing called? I don't know what it's called. Not the permission. We're gonna have a protest, and just so that Jeff Jarrett has to fight Effie every time he makes people angry. And now on to some little bit of exciting news, because recently on WWE Raw last night, two former Bullet Club members, Mr. AJ Styles and Mr. Finn Fergal Devitt Balor, you figure out which order those names go in. They did a run-in to save Styles. Well, Balor did a run-in to save Styles from the beatdown at the hands of Edge and Damian Priest, also known as their new stable, the Judgment Day stable. Yeah, so I thought that's pretty cool. I wish they would play into Bullet Club more, but I know they won't because they hate everything that's not made by them, unless they're getting paid for it. Next up, speaking of Thunder Rosa, Nyla Rose was talking about anyone from Stardom, mentioning them yesterday, can walk through the Forbidden Archway, maybe setting up a little bit of that Stardom AEW Women's Division crossover at the New Japan show. I am hoping so. And and talking about Thunder Rosa, even though Miss Nyla Rose did not beat Thunder Rosa, I think it would still be a wonderful, wonderful show if maybe Nyla and somebody had to team up against Rosa and somebody. I think that'd be great, and have those two somebodies be from Stardom. So, and of course, I included a thing with Vicky because I think she should be on the mic as much as every other male manager, every Taz, every Jake, every Lambert, whatever his name is. Every smart Mark Sterling, everybody who gets the mic, Vicky should get it just as much. And I'm sure people will disagree with me because her voice is shrill to some people. I just love it, but that's a personal thing. So I love it. But we do have some exciting to talk about because Dexter Loomis, even though he is freshly released, announced that he will be in Born in Blood at the ARW event in Melbourne, Florida in June. So, hey, they only have a 30-day non-complete clause, and it looks like he is already jumping on it. And if you go online, you can find his little vignette where he's painting stuff and getting ready for Born in Blood. So I thought that was very fun to talk about because a lot of people, including myself, were shocked that he was released from NXT, and looks like he's doing all better now. So, and coming up next is the All Elite Arcade. That's right, you probably saw this pop up, but I am probably Allie. Just we're working on the times. Will be, live watch along, live watch along and watch party. The the AEW game trailer release stuff that's happening on Twitter tomorrow. So if you're bored in the morning, you can always pop over here and come and see what we think of the new game. I will also try to put a little picture in picture because they can't copyright it while it's live. They can't. They can afterwards, but not during. Yeah, so that's great. But please tune in, and I hope it'll be fun. I'm gonna go with a cute, like, cat girl gamer look tomorrow. Try to be in all the theme. Should be fun. And next is I just wanted to put this in here, even though Rampage is not the show we're doing tonight for the watch party. That's NXT. And also later today, since there is the wonderful games tomorrow, later today is me and Will with the tier list. And something tells me it's about music. So you guys got to tune in. But Rampage is here because it's going to have a special start time on Friday, which is the 1 hour broadcast will start at 5:30 p.m. Eastern and 4:30 Central on TNT. That will probably drive the numbers down because people are still at work and or getting home from work and or making supper and dealing with the children after school. I'm gonna hate to see the statistics for this, but I understand it's because sports and other sports, for some reason, get more time. So yeah, just letting everybody know that because in case you turn it there and you're like, well, what's going on? No, it's on super early this week. That's what. But it looks like we came to the end of our news. So. That's right, question of the day. And today, LJ's question of the day is all about wrestling video games. Tell me what your favorite was. Have you played the new 2K22 game from WWE? And are you excited for the AEW game coming out, or at least our watch party tomorrow? Because you get to see your favorite women's tag team of Wrasslinews here on YouTube, review and watch along with the wonderful AEW team on Twitch. We'll be here, but everything's happening on Twitch for them. But we'll be watching it and giving you guys all the information and scoops. So you guys got to tell me what your favorite one is. I've heard a lot about Mercy. Or No Mercy, that's what it's called. And that's all I've really heard. That's the only one that I've heard good reviews of. So please let me know down in the comments. You got to school me about wrestling video games because I don't know much. So thank you, and I will see you guys all later tomorrow. And probably every day of the week because every day of the week we are here. So remember to comment, like, subscribe, ring the bell because they all mean a lot to us and they help us a lot. So, I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.